doomed. You're all doomed. You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse.
You need to shut the up.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
This is my boomstick!
Swallow this.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Air in the Head show. I'm glad to see everybody joining us once again. This means the world. Of course, Lance here, and my host, the Arrow himself, Mr. John Fallon. John, same question as always. How are you?
I'm dandy. I'm just dandy. I just finished editing my next feature. I'm very happy about it. My brain is mush, so we'll see how that works for the show. But no, I'm a happy camper, pun intended, right now. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Yeah, just living life. Yeah. Rainy season, just hanging out, you know. But hold on, you jumped ahead. I was going to ask you, now that you're done editing, what's the next step in the evolution of the movie? Because I've never made one, so I'm kind of learning from you.
Right now, I'm sending the movie to the main investor. So maybe he'll have notes, maybe he won't. We'll see. I'm sending it to a bunch of people that I trust, their opinions, to get their feedback, because I'm too close to it. I can't see shit anymore. Yeah, and then when I get all that, my editor and I, Michael Nourier, get back in the edit, do little tweaks for the investor, little tweaks for in terms of the notes that I get. And then that's it. Then jump into, it's going to be in parallel, color correction, sound design, and working with my composer to create the music. And that's it. Some people like to collect cards. Other people like to, ride a bike or what. I like to be involved in filmmaking. So it's a job, but it's more like a passion, and it's something I enjoy doing. So when you enjoy doing it, it's not really a job, it's just something you love doing. So, twice a month, you get together, have a couple drinks and bullshit over a couple things. Maybe one day, years past, it'll be on one of your movies, Who knows? Just don't bust my balls too much, Nah,
that's not my style. I'm from the Midwest. I'm naturally polite.
But anyways, they don't know that. You guys don't know that. I know this guy. He's a dick. That's another story.
No, kind of can be like that of an old man helping an old lady across the road.
Yeah, when the bus is coming. I know. So actually, I'll segue into our usual repartee. What's on the menu today? What are you drinking?
So last week you said something that kind of stuck with me because I'm, it's summer. I need to get in a little bit of shape. So I went with I call it the John Fallon special as of last week. Vodka, ice, and a little bit of lemon.
That's hilarious.
And also I should say, just because it's not a big glass, I racked my blueberry mead today. I'm the second rack. So I got a little bit of the first rack here. I'm going to try out, see how it tastes.
Nice. I'll be making my own mead very soon, by the way. For me, I actually got sick of vodka. It's like there's so many ways you could drink vodka. Vodka water, boring. Vodka water with lime or lemon, boring. I tried vodka. Cranberry was keeping me going for a bit, boring. So I went wine.
Oh, classy.
Cabernet Sauvignon. Hardly any carbs and only 24 calories.
Oh, what year?
How the f should I know, man?
They're drinking wine.
What do I care? What do I care, man? It tastes good. That's all I care about. To you, my friend.
And everybody else, cheers.
To all you guys and gals, thank you so much for once again joining us, supporting us, busting our balls when we deserve it. I truly appreciate it. We truly appreciate it, right?
Yeah. And if you're drinking, drink with us.
Hello, my friend!
God, I miss whiskey.
Bourbon on the rocks. That'll do it.
We're talking about the OG, something it was kind of interesting to revisit, the OG Friday the 13th.
1980, baby. Sean Cunningham.
Yeah.
What's his name, the guy, the writer that's been holding up the franchise? Victor Miller, right?
Victor Miller, yeah, which they settled. I don't know if you know how that lawsuit came out, but it's just as convoluted, so we're still just as screwed as we were before. I mean, it's settled, but now the way they got to get together is so dumb that we're not going to get a movie again. It's like
it was a weird thing. Like, they can make another Friday 13 movie, but I think they can't use the Friday the 13 name, or was it they can't use Jason Voorhees' name, or was it I don't know. There was like
they can't use the Friday the 13th name, but also I believe it. So it's something about the name of the Friday the 13th, the Jason character, and U.S. distribution, and then worldwide distribution, and all those are cut up. So it's like it's like you have a map with a corner. That guy's in the corner, and you gotta get together and put it together. So it's like, well, they hate each other, and they've been suing each other for the last 5 years.
Well,
so
the last one was in 2009.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. It's even longer. Yeah. That's depressing. Ah, man.
I know. I miss Jason, man.
But OG Friday the 13th, John. So we're going to bounce back and forth because we don't talk about, obviously, our thoughts before we do the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We just pick a movie. We take our notes. It's like going to school. So I'd like you to start, actually, because you probably have a little more history with this than I do.
Really? Why would I?
Because you're a movie review guy. Hey, you probably hit this shit back when I...
whatever, man. I mean...
You're the Arrow. Like you tell me.
I was the Arrow. He's buried, dead. No, I love Friday the 13th, man. I mean, of course, it's from 1980. It's dated. I like, the structure that they took. They took a date, Friday the 13th. It's actually smart business what they did. I'm sure you're aware of this, but, Sean Cunningham came up with the title Friday the 13th. That's it. Didn't have a premise, didn't have a story, didn't have nothing. But Friday the 13th, which, incidentally... that is the unluckiest day ever, based on when the Knights Templars were arrested a long, long time ago. They were arrested on Friday the 13th and then eventually, burned at the stake, forced to confess to heresy because the King of France owed them money. So he concocted this whole thing that, they were devil worshippers. They were doing shit that was out of line behind closed doors. And the Knights Templar, in case you didn't know, they were like the Pope's army. And back then the Pope was bigger than the government. The king owed money. They want to pay up. And they went and got arrested and eventually killed. But they got arrested on Friday the 13th. That's where the whole mythology of Friday the 13th being an unlucky day comes from. So Sean Cunningham took Friday the 13th. He had nothing, but he had a gut about the title. So he bought like a full page in Variety. Friday the 13th, the scariest movie ever made or some shit like that, with it coming through glass, Friday the 13th. And then he got the buzz through that. And they pretty much... Yeah, you have something to say? Go ahead. Say
no,
it.
No, I was saying I miss that type of movie industry. Like that's so cool. I always hear stories. I mean, Charles Band used to do the same thing with Full Moon, where like he would pay a guy to do a really good poster, and they would sell the movie in the poster before that fucking movie's written. So like I did read about the fact that he took a page ad and he made a cool graphic. At a time, that's all you needed. Just like the balls to do it. And like there was money out there to take, man. I don't know. So continue.
So what I liked is, it actually kind of kept to the template of the original Halloween, because Halloween had broke the bank. It was a low budget film. And I know for a fact, I'm sure most of you guys know as well, that was somewhat the quote unquote inspiration for Cunningham to say, fuck, they did it, so let me do it. So let's pick, Halloween was a special day, a holiday, I guess, but it's not really a holiday because we don't have off, but it's a special day. Friday the 13th is a special day. Something that happened in the past. In Halloween, it's little kid killed his sister, and Friday the 13th, the little boy drowned. So it was brilliant. Like structure-wise, when you keep things simple, usually you hit it. And Friday the 13th is very simple. It's a simple movie. You have the backstory, kids show up, character development, relationships, whatnot, the setup, and then they start getting killed one by one. And then in the last act, there's a reveal. Then at the end, there's a shock ending, which was ripped off from Carrie, incidentally. That was like clean.
Oh, the Jason thing, right?
Yeah, Jason comes out of the lake, attacks Adrian King's character.
Yeah, it wasn't in the script, right?
No, it wasn't. So they wanted an ending like Carrie. So, they came up with that. And that's it. Roll credits. You have great gore by Tom Savini. Like, that's one thing that was a big difference between Halloween and the original Friday the 13th is Halloween was goreless. Savini had just come off from Dawn of the Dead. He brought that to the game. So for me, that really elevates the film, the gore moments. The arrow through Kevin Bacon's neck, the axe in the face, slit throats, all really, really well done. And of course, there's the score. I don't know if you've noticed this, but the score only kicks in when the killer's there. The rest of the movie, there's no score.
It was supposed to be like a take on Jaws, if I'm correct, right? Like the presence of the killer was, because we don't see it. So like instead of the dun 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 dun, you'd have the Friday the 13th. Yeah, was it Mandafrini? Is it? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Manfredini.
Again, it actually reinforces what I just said: simplicity. So killer, mommy, killer. That was, Betsy Palmer's character, Mrs. Voorhees. She says that, and he got inspired by that. So he took key, kill, mommy, ma, and he whispered in the microphone, and then, and boom, that's it, done. Quickest composition ever fucking made. Yeah. So, but it works. It works like gold, Jerry. Gold.
That's gold, Jerry. Gold!
So yeah, I rewatched it before we did this show, and again, it's dated. There's some pacing issues. I could have done without what's his face, Crazy Ralph there, the Ralph guy, on his bicycle.
Really?
Yeah. He belongs in a pirate movie, in my opinion, or Scooby Doo episode. You're all doomed. They actually created that character because at first they wanted to build a whodunit. So their intention was that maybe the audience is going to think that Crazy Ralph is the culprit. He might be the killer. But that didn't fucking work, in my opinion. Like, not once throughout this movie, even the first time I saw it, I'm thinking, oh, is it Kevin Bacon? Is it Crazy Ralph? No, I'm like, I don't know who it is. Betsy Palmer had suggested that there's a scene in kind of like a diner in the beginning of the movie. She had suggested that, hey, put me in the diner, and I say bye-bye. So she's in the diner, bye-bye, or something, just to establish her, as a potential suspect, but Cunningham didn't go for it.
Clearly, they don't show the killer. It's always the perspective of the killer with the victim. But you're right, though. The way it's styled, I didn't really feel like I was supposed to be guessing,
Yeah.
So it's funny, actually, that you mentioned that, because I was watching it with my my mujer, and
my mujer.
And she'd never seen it, and she was like, "Oh, is that guy the killer for the Crazy Ralph?" And I was like,
It actually worked on her. Who knew?
And I was like, "Are you fucking with me?" It's like you know who the killer is, right? And she didn't. I don't ever not remembering Miss Voorhees being the killer. Like, that's just how ingrained that part of this is. So it was kind of interesting. I was like, no, it's Jason's mom. And then, but for her, I don't think she thought it was a whodunit. I thought she was thinking like, oh, that's a crazy guy that they've been warned about. There's cops, like, he's a killer. And I was like, no, it's not that fun.
That bicycle made sure he was not the killer.
It was hilarious because he didn't walk away. He rode away. And I was like, I actually wanted more of him. I guess I'll jump in and say, I don't like this movie. I never have. I rewatched it. No,
Are you out of your fucking mind?
I find it incredibly boring. It started a lot. I mean, I would say it's influential. Clearly, like, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't get Jason. But I always just start with number 2. I mean, I probably haven't watched this in 15 years. So I watched the director's cut in my box set for Scream Factory. And I mean, I was like, oh, come on. I mean, every kill is like a knife slit. There's like 3 deaths that are off camera. I'm like, oh man, dude. Again, I get it. I do. I think this is one of those where, like, if I was there at the time in 1980 with my girlfriend in the theater, I might have some sort of nostalgic tie to this, but I don't. So I'm watching it cold turkey, and I'm like, the kills are boring. The pace is boring. I don't care about anybody. I liked Ralph a lot. I actually was like, oh, I thought he was in it more. I thought Crazy Ralph kept coming back.
Is there wait, no. Is there hidden cameras here? Am I in like some kind of sketch show? Then some clown's gonna come out of my fridge and say, "Yeah, we got you."
You're saying that this is a top 5 tier for the 30th movie? I mean, I'm sorry. It doesn't have the charm and goofiness of the later sequels. It doesn't have the sort of ferocity of the second, third, and fourth. This is just sort of. Well, how about this? We can.
Hey, how about this?
We can break bread. We can break. And I'll be pragmatic here. Savini was great. I think the effects were fine. The kills were boring, but it was a little bunch of film. I think this is one of those things. It's like the first car. Now I'm glad it was invented. Now I got a Chevy Malibu, but I don't care. I don't care. And this is a good example of hey man, it did a lot of stuff, and I'm glad of what's come from this. But I don't find this fun at all. Can we not argue that if we want to do a fun camp murder film, I think it's called The Burning and Sleepaway Camp, 2 far more superior films with this exact subplot. Now, when Jason comes in, that's a different story. Bag of Jason, bald Jason, hockey mask Jason, and all those entries, then I'm willing to meet you in the middle. But until then.
Well, look, first and foremost, you're allowed to have your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shying away.
Wait, I noticed. Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
And, we're all entitled to opinions. We all see things from our own perspective. I'm somewhat surprised. Hence, aka taken aback that you're not seeing the nuances. Yes, I said nuances when it comes to Friday the 13th. First of all, have you ever noticed that it's a bit like a reversal on Psycho? Like Psycho, the grandfather of fucking slasher movies. Is a guy who dresses up like his dead mom and does the business. And this, it's the mom who's channeling her dead son, or is, quote unquote, maybe she's schizophrenic or something, She kills because of her son, and sometimes adopts his personality, kill her, mommy, kill her, mommy.
Yeah. I mean, it's lame. There's a reason why, like, Anthony Perkins is an actor, and no offense.
What? Betsy Palmer's amazing, man. What are you talking about?
I mean, she's fine, but she's no Anthony Perkins. Fine. If we're putting that in, and we're putting Anthony Perkins in the pool here, no, there's not balancing him up, man. I mean, she was fine. I thought that part was lame. If this was a more schlocky movie, I could get down, but it has that sort of like late 70s vibe, where like things are just so fucking slow. I listen, I understand this is not a popular opinion. Pour yourself a drink. Stomach stab with a hunting knife, neck stab with a hunting knife, throat slash with a hunting knife. Okay, I'm already fucking bored. Like that's
oh yeah. And you love Halloween.
I mean, I like the first one because it's a good suspenseful movie, but you're right. So that's not gory. A movie purely based on well-directing suspense. If I'm looking for kills, let's look at number 2. Head stabbed with an ice pick, string with barbed wire, head stabbed with a hammer, face struck with a machete. Like, we're already getting variety of kills in part 2. Like, number 1 to me was just a little bland. And again,
it's the first movie, dude. How about you cut it some fucking slack?
Because
they're just getting warmed up, man.
I'm trying to be as fair as possible. Like I've said it again. I'll say it one more time. I appreciate that this started something that I love. It has moments. Crazy Ralph. I think Bacon does fine. Alice, I liked Alice. There's Enos, which is the creepy truck driver that grabs a girl's ass. It's like, okay, well that's weird.
Yeah.
And
she was got to relax, I mean. Yeah.
She doesn't even mention it. She's just like, like I'll the 80s.
In those days, it was all right. So.
all the men had like short shirts, so the girls would sit and look at them like, it's a good movie.
I love that. I love the fashion sense of the picture.
Well, it's the stuff now,
Well, yeah, pretty much every girl does not own a bra, so it's always like tight tops and no bra, with the the high beams going.
I don't know why you would wear a bra. That doesn't even make sense. The beginnings are always too jagged for me. It's like the pilot episode of a show you like. You go back and watch it after like season 4, you're like, oh, like it's not there yet, So it's like, yes, it did its job and I'm happy to exist, but like I'm not going to revisit it.
Funny little fucking anecdote. When the first one killed it, because it, as I'm sure you can imagine, it was, did you just smell that glass?
I haven't tried my own mead. Yeah, I'm smelling the fucking mead.
All right, smell it. Go ahead. Sip it.
I'm sorry, I'm making my own alcohol. Can I not? Like,
look at this fucking
I'm learning.
Guy. Hello. You're British, but you're not. All right.
I continue. I apologize.
No.
I'm enjoying my liquor.
Yeah, the first movie was a hit.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, sequel, because the first movie was not conceived to have sequels. So one of the producers, and I wrote his name, but of course my handwriting is the equivalent of kindergarten child writing. And his name, the producer was called Phil Scuderi, potentially.
Oh,
and Phil Scuderi, and I probably have his name wrong, guys, so just go with that. Nobody gets hurt, at least alone. Phil Scuderi said, you know what? Part 2, let's have Jason. And Sean Cunningham was like, what the fuck? That's the stupidest fucking shit ever. Jason's dead, dude. Well, we're not going to bring back Jason. Scuderi put his fucking foot down. So, we're bringing back Jason for part 2, and that's it. And of course, they did. And of course, the rest. Ching Ching. And Cunningham, to this day has admitted, I was wrong. That's just how it is,
Who has not admitted he's wrong is Victor Miller. I've seen some quotes saying that, like, he thinks that the first movie is an auteur experience and that Jason was always the victim, never the killer.
What?
No, what? Yeah, Victor. Yeah, well, because, in the first movie, he's the victim. He's the reason Pamela Voorhees is doing all this because of Jason. So he should stay that innocent victim. The memory of me ever watching this movie has not been pro Jason. I love Tommy Jarvis, but Jason. I love Tina, Jason. Pete, you can name anybody. The Duke, Jason. So I guess I
part 2. Part 2 actually.
What's your name was good, yes.
Which is Amy Steele, which is an entry that I've gone back and forth in terms of my opinion about it. Directed by Steve Miner, obviously. I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't even know how I feel about it right now. Last time I checked it out, I loved it. The time before, I didn't care for it. So I change my mind all the time. But part 2, Jason scared the shit out of me. And I was not rooting for him at all. Yeah. I mean, he takes off the pillowcase and he shows his.
Yeah, it's all like redneck. Yeah.
His God, I don't even know what word I'm allowed to use. So when adult Jason took off the thing and he showed his deformed face,
Wow, thanks a lot.
I was scared shitless. I was not rooting for him, man. He scared the shit out of me. So
It's fair. I was, but I get it.
but post part 2, I agree with you. I've always rooted for Jason because why not?
I think that's why this sits different than other series. That's why, like, I'm willing to take dumb entries because I'm rooting for the bad guy, which I always think of Payback, which is like, well, he was not even the bad guy in that, but doesn't matter. I'm off topic.
Well, it was a bad guy, but he had
but he was just saying, I'm so charming. Yeah, no, I mean, he wanted
He's Mel Gibson.
He wanted $70,000.
I know.
Like,
he didn't want more. He just wanted that amount. Yeah, remember?
And tell him it's 70, will you?
Hell, my suits are worth more than that.
All right. Well, look, I personally, yes, it's dated. Yes, there's pacing issues. It brought in Tom Savini gore. It brought in deformed Jason, which was a Tom Savini idea because, just in case you guys didn't know, initially flashback Jason was just supposed to be mentally challenged. It brought in mentally challenged Jason, who was deformed due to Savini's input. It copied, admittedly, from Halloween, the discover the body scene. When the final girl goes around and ta-da, ta-da, they're falling from the fucking sky. It had a lot of sexy moments. Panties, tops with no bras, sex scene. It had a great, final scare, with him coming out of the boat, Carrie style. It originated the Kiki Mama score, and it planted the seed for the franchise that was to come. So, and it had Kevin Bacon showing his bacon. I must say for the ladies and the gay dudes.
It was a great
listening to this show. No, there's a certain scene because somebody sent it to me as a joke, like a couple of weeks back before we even decided to do Friday the 13th. I mean, hey, Arrow, have you ever seen this in Friday the 13th? And it's a screen grab, and I'll send it to you so you can put it in the show. It's a screen grab from Friday the 13th when they're at the dock or something, and Bacon's got a boner in his. I
didn't notice. I just watched it.
I didn't even. I was looking for it when I was watching the movie because that's what I do, and. Relax. A man's got to cut the edge somewhere, yeah?
Man's got to relax.
But I was like, yeah, bacon's in full display. That's for damn sure. I don't know why I got here, but here I am. So I don't know.
We're trying to be as fair as possible and say that everybody gets a little.
So basically, I'm saying you're an asshole. You're way too hard on it. You're not taking into account everything the film has brought to not only the Friday the 13th franchise, but to the horror genre as a whole. And I think you should be a little kinder. Well, one thing I noticed, I never noticed before in the last act when Mrs. Voorhees, is now on the attack. Alice is inside and she blocks the door of the cabin with a bunch of shit, but the door opens from the outside. So she's blocking the thing, and I'm watching the scene. I'm like,
that's good.
Doesn't the door open from the outside? And I'm like, maybe I'm tripping balls. Let me wait and see. And then the scene unravels, and eventually the door gets open. It opens from the outside. So I'm like,
I mean, she was in that one cabin with all the guns in the wall.
No, it's low budget filmmaking. Fuck.
But you're not supposed to notice that because you're in the moments, No,
I noticed. I was in the moment, but I noticed it. But for the first time, and I've seen the movie a million times, but it was the first time I saw it.
You're a better person than I.
So, all right. Well, look, we'll agree to disagree. But with that said, what the fuck do I know? You're entitled to your opinion, so go fuck yourself. We're done. I can't fucking look at your fucking face. Anyway, I think it's a fucking jewel. All right.
Good. People do. Most people do. I'm not. You're on the right side of history, buddy. I'm not. I know where I stand.
It planted a seed, established a lot of things that we got to enjoy as it evolved and grew in further sequels. And I think the film should be respected and applauded. And not only that, although it was easier back in the 80s, to make an independent film that would pop. Yeah, we had your Blair Witch projects or whatever the fuck, but today's not that easy to get indie to pop. But it's a miracle what they did. A bit like Halloween, the same thing. It's another little horror miracle. You made a very little movie, no names. Although they had, I got my notes, Harry Crosby, who's Bing Crosby's son in Friday the 13th, by the way. FYI.
Who did he? Hold on.
Who gives a fuck? He played somebody. He played
Bill. Bill.
But he didn't want to be associated to his dad. He wanted to make it on his own. So Harry
Crosby is Bill.
Harry Crosby, yeah. So this little movie that costs, I think it was $500,000, I remember correctly. That's a success story, man. And, you know, it deserves its dues, deserve a pat on the ass, hand job, the whole shebang, you know?
I'm happy it made money because it gave me my favorite killer. So I'll say that. You know, I like some weird sequels that people hate and stuff like that. Clearly, this is not in comparison to that, but I'm just saying that when it comes to movies that people don't like, I never want it out of circulation. I don't want this away. I always want this stuff around. So, like, you know, it ain't my bag, but hey, people like it. So I'm not going to fight anybody in public for it. It's just boring. But hey, it gave me the roots to something that is really important to my like horror existence. So I'll give it credit, man. So okay, cool, man. Well then, I guess John, this is goodbye.
No, let's see you later, bro.
Well, you never know, man. Life is short.
All
Goodbye,
right.
John. And
Goodbye,
until next
Lance.
time.
Until
Until
next
next time, buddy.
And
Until
cheers
next
to
time.
you guys. Have a great night or day or evening or whatever.